Hello, everyone. How's it going? Dr. Incompetent here, and let's do a complete beginner's guide to Terraria, shall we? Terraria is a fantastic building, crafting, survival, action, adventure, side-scrolling exploration game, and I don't even know if that encompasses everything that this really is. By this point, it's an iconic, seminal game. Some people like to say it's 2D Minecraft, and while it's inspired, at least as I understand it, the developers in this game were inspired by Minecraft, it is not really relatable to Minecraft in so many ways. So it's a useful way to think about it in the sense that you have a pickaxe and you're mining and you're crafting and you're building, but it doesn't resemble Minecraft much beyond that. So what I'd like to do in this guide is start up a brand new game. We're going to create a new world, and we're going to start from the very beginning, and I'm going to guide you through the UI, the controls, how to play, basic tips and tricks. I'm not going to spoil anything. I'm not going to tell you this is exactly the fastest way you need to go to get through the different game modes, and here are the exploits, and let's go and do this in 5 minutes. Instead, I'm going to explain my thought process. I'm going to build up the fundamentals so that you can explore Terraria at your own pace and discover the game for yourself once you master the very basics. This game, it has a cartoony feel. It has this vibin', old school 8-bit kind of music. But let me tell you what, it is much deeper, more complicated, and at least for me, more difficult than I thought it was when I first booted it up. So there's a little bit of a learning curve, and hopefully this guide will help you get beyond that. So we're going to start a brand new single-player game. Now, just for reference sake, I am playing this in October of 2023 with the update live for that portion of time. 1.4.4.9. I believe there is an update coming out at some point soon for the game, at least some new stuff. But this is on PC. So we're going to go to single player, and we're going to make a new game. As you can see, I have another file, and I have a Let's Play of this game where I booted up on stream for effectively my first real go at the game. I had played it a little bit on PlayStation Vita, and I didn't really get the game, and then I booted it up again and was guided by many new players and old players alike in terms of helping me understand the game. So what you're going to get in this guide is what I have learned from others on stream, what I have learned myself through trial and error. Now, when you click New Game on single player, you come to this screen, and you get to kind of like customize how your character looks. You can change your name, and we will be in comp tutorial. Okay, now you can change this name later, I do believe, on the PC, but just pick a name for yourself. You can change your gender, you can customize your hair, your eye color and stuff. So yeah, we'll give ourselves some blue eyes, and well, guess what, we're going to give ourselves blue skin like our channel avatar. Our hair has to be this kind of nice yellowy color, and that looks great. We're grooving now. I'm okay with this hairstyle. The clothing, let's get some nice, blue clothes on if we could. Nice kind of dark blue. This is cool. You can just adjust the intensity of your clothing and the coloring of it however you like. Get back into the blue roll, please, and then a little lighter. That's good. And then your pants, well, these have to be obviously blue, and like dark blue like that. And your boots, we could just make these boots like so dark that they're almost black, and that is groovin'. Okay, great. So I'll create that. So what we're going to do is create a new world. And when you select Create New World, this screen will open up. And I'm not going to change basically anything on this screen. It's called the Hive of Lawyers, which is hilarious. It's a random name. You could see the seed number written down below it, so if you want to play on the exact same world with your game, you can just enter that number and be on it. We're going to keep the world size at medium. This is good for a new player. Small is maybe makes for a faster game, but there's just less resources. You can get around faster, yes, but it just doesn't feel right, at least for me personally. But if you want to play a quicker game, go small. Large is great, but it takes a long time to travel around. It's a much longer game, but there are more materials. I'm going to keep these things on default. We're going to go with classic again, which means all we drop is coins on death. And this right here, we're going to keep the corruption or crimson at random. This is an evil biome, which will invade our world, and you can either have one or the other. So we're not going to worry about picking one intentionally. We're just going to go with random. And we're going to click Create. And now it's going to generate your world. Now, it's worth noting, one of the cool things about Terraria is you make a character, and it's separate from the world that you make. So what that means is you can make a new world and then bring in your, like, uber powerful character to explore a world that has not yet been mined or explored at all. You know, it's a fresh world that you give the parameters to. You can carry with you all of the items that you can fit in your inventory for that character and bring them over into the new world to kind of start with a leg up if you want. Once you're ready then with the new world, you're just going to click this little play button underneath it, and it's going to load you up. And here we are on our brand new world. I am this character in the center of the screen. This guy right here is Jacob. He is the guide. And I'm going to right-click on him, and he says, they say there is a person who will tell you how to survive in this land. Oh, wait, that's me. I cannot stress this enough. The guide is, if you're a new player, and even if you're an old player, one of the most useful resources in the game, because you can say help, and he will give you advice like this. Use your pickaxe to dig through the dirt, your axe to chop down trees, place your cursor over the tile, and click. And this is super helpful. So he's told us how we can survive, and what we need to do to interact with things. I'm going to have to move very quickly right here. I want to explain things in more detail, but time is a factor in the game. So I'm going to stab this bunny, or wait, it's not a bunny, it's a slime that's dressed as a bunny. I'm playing during the Halloween event, so the enemies look a little bit different. They might have costumes. Right away in the upper left, you see I have a hotbar. I have a copper short sword, which is bound to the number 1 key, or I can click on it. A heavy copper pickaxe and an annoying copper axe, which are bound to 2 and 3. I'm going to select my axe by pushing 3, and I'm going to start chopping down trees to get some wood. I had a little bit in my inventory because I started a previous game, but I needed to restart because I wasn't moving quickly enough. I wanted to explain everything in the game for the guide, but it became night too quickly, and I need to build a house much faster. This game, the time is passing. You can see the sun moving in the sky. You cannot pause the game unless you push escape, and then you click on the settings button in the bottom right of the screen. If you do this to pause the game while you're here, I highly recommend you go into the controls and you go to the key binding and you make sure that your throw is unbound. By default, throw is bound to the T key. Throw is not something you need in the game. It just lets you like drop an item on the ground if you don't want it. It doesn't really have any other functionality besides that. And all I have found in my experience is that it makes you drop the item that you're using, like your tool, your weapon, accidentally, and sometimes you can lose it or it can go into the lava or terrible things can happen. So you do not need throw in my opinion, and I always unbind it so I don't accidentally drop my weapon when I'm trying to fight or something like that. So unbind that. Now, we're going to chop down a bunch of trees here with the axe, and all you have to do is just hold left click. So you just hold left click until the tree breaks, and then you get resources from it. We're getting wood and acorns, and they just go into our hotbar up here. Now, once I've got some wood, I'm going to push 4 to select the wood, and I'm just going to click on the ground to place these blocks down. So I'm going to build a floor of our house. We need to get a house built before nighttime because much more difficult enemies, or persistent enemies, I should say, come at night. So I'm going to build a floor that's about this wide. You can make your house bigger or smaller. It really doesn't matter. I'm going to go 1, but it needs to be, I believe, at least at the very minimum, 7 blocks wide. Now, I'm going to build it this wide, just so we have a pretty substantial looking house. And I'm going to build it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 tall, and then 6 for the ceiling. Now, you don't need it to be this tall. You can make it smaller if you wish, but I believe that this is the correct height. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, this is good. Okay, so now, after I've built this much of the house, I'm going to box us in. So we've got a box, which is cool, but now what? I'm going to push escape, and you'll see in the mid-left of the screen, there is a crafting panel. This tells me what I can make with the ingredients that I have in my current inventory. Right now, all I can make are torches, which I make with gel and wood, wood platforms and benches, a workbench rather. I need a workbench to make more advanced items. So I'm going to just click on the workbench until it becomes yellow, like I've selected it. And over here to the right, it says you need 10 wood. Now you can also just click on the hammer down here, and it will just bring up a screen of every single thing that you can craft. I'm going to click on the bench, and I'm going to left click, and you see how it goes into my mouse, and it's by my mouse cursor. And then now when I bring my mouse into the game, it's telling me where do you want to set this bench. And I'm just going to set it right in the middle of this house. Once I put this down, notice how my crafting window expands, because now if I'm near this workbench, I can build all of these things with the ingredients I have. I need to make 2 doors. I'm going to click on the door, click 1, 2 times, put this on number 6. I need to make a chair. I'm going to click on this and put it here, and then I'm going to click on the crafting window again because I want to make torches, and I'm just going to click 1, 2, and make all the torches I can, which is actually 6, and I'll put it on hotbar 0. Then from here, I'm going to click on this chair, or you can push number 7 on the hotbar by closing the inventory. And I'm going to put this down. Now the chair will face whatever direction your character is facing. So if I turn around to face Jacob, our guide, I could click the chair and put it right there next to the table. Then I'm going to push 0, and I'm going to select a torch, and I'm going to put a torch in the upper corners of the home like this. And then now all I need to do are put some doors on this house to keep us safe. But if I select the door, you'll notice that it won't let me build the door over top of the walls that we have. So what I can do is instead use my pickaxe, number 2, and just break the walls that I built, and then push 6 to put a door here, and then do the same thing over here. Now, I will push 6 and put a door here. So this door, I can walk through, and so can the guide, but the enemies cannot unless there is a special event going on. So now we're getting safer. But is this a home? Not yet, because although this is a 2D game, you actually need a back wall to make this a full home. So how do we make a wall? Well, I can now slow down a little bit and talk to you about some of the elements of the UI because we've built our home. But the most important thing is to go back to the guide, right-click on him, and understand how if you're struggling, if you want to know anything about the game, just talk to the guide and say help. And he says, we're going to need weapons and shelter. Start by chopping down trees and gathering wood. Okay, great, we did that. Press escape to access your crafting menu, and when we have enough wood, we can make a workbench. This will allow us to create more complicated things. We did that. Then he says you can build a shelter by placing wood or other blocks in the world. Don't forget to create and place walls. Now that's what we need to do now. So if I push escape and go to the crafting menu by clicking the crafting window hammer, you can see that right here, third from the left is wooden wall. I'm going to click on this. It will automatically take me to the wooden wall button, and I'm going to click this. And you can actually just hold down the left mouse button to make as many of these as you can. And then once you run out, it's done. I'm going to put this on number 9. And I'm going to build. I'm going to push escape. And we're going to start building some walls. So I just left click behind my house. And you see how now the background of these mountains and everything is being covered up by these walls. And I'm going to put it right here. And whoops, that's not where I want it. Look, it's gone beyond my house. So how do I control this a little bit better? Well, if I have my mouse and you see how it's pointed at a very straight angle and it's long, this cursor mode is like the manual placement mode or the default mode. And if I click I get to aim with precision where I want to go. But if I push control, you'll notice how the cursor turns into a yellow box when I'm aiming at certain areas, and this is the smart cursor. And if I hold this down, if I have smart cursor on and I hold left click, my character automatically builds the wall where it's supposed to go. So this makes building a wall a lot easier. Now, we have a wall built in completely behind our house. This we can remove later. It's not a big deal. But at this point, we can say we actually have a house. Now notice these slimes cannot get in our house. They can't break through the door. They're just going to be out there. So we're safe here for the night. And we're making good progress. Now you can push control again and change the cursor. You see how it becomes long again, and it's thinner. The fat cursor is like the smart cursor, and then this is the long cursor. Now, you can also, if you want, do what's called auto select, and you can hold shift to use auto select. And if you hold shift for right now, it's a way to just bring out your torch. So this is super useful because you need to place torches all the time, and instead of having to push the keybind to pull out a torch and place it, you can just push shift and put the torch down. But here's something really cool that you can do. You can go over to the guide, and you can right-click the guide, and you can click crafting. And you can put any material from your inventory into the crafting panel, like here, and he will tell you what you can make with that item. And you can actually click crafting window, and you can see with acorns, I can make, for example, gem trees. So what if I instead went over, I got the axe, and I chopped down this tree? Okay, and we're going to break this tree down, and let's talk to the guide, right-click him, say crafting, and I'm going to just take some wood and put it here, and then I'm going to click the crafting window. Look how many items the guide is telling me I can make with wood. This is how you can figure out how to make anything that you're looking for in the game, by telling the guide, I've got an item, putting it in this box right here, and seeing what's available to make. And then if you click on it, for example, if I go back to him and I say crafting, and I say wood, and then I click on this, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I really want this bookcase. I click on the bookcase, and it tells me to make a bookcase, I need wood and I need books. So it tells you exactly what you need to make that, and we don't have that. Now you hear the music changing. It is going to become nighttime, and the enemies are going to start coming at us, those zombies and other nasty things, but in our house, we should be safe. Here comes the zombie right there on cue. And he's going to want to get into our house. Now you'll see he wants to come in, but he can't. He doesn't damage the door. You don't have to worry about that. This zombie is dressed up like a superhero because it's Halloween. It's hilarious. So once you've built your house, you can spend the night here and you are safe. How do you know if you've got a house? Look at this. Jacob is just chilling in the chair. You can push escape and you can go over to the housing button. So on the right panel, we talked... Actually, we haven't got to talk about this yet because we've been so busy trying to survive. So let's talk about what we see on the screen. On the right, this is the equipment panel, and everything on this far right vertical column is what I can equip in my head slot, my shirt slot, my pants. This middle column is my cosmetic slots where I can like put overrides, and this is where I can put dyes to change the color of my cosmetic items. Now, I have different loadouts that I can equip here for different situations. I'm on loadout 1. I can also change the visibility of the accessories that I have equipped, for example. And I have some other things that I can do here. I can click on the housing button, for example, and this will tell you who lives in this house. Well, this banner says Jacob. This is Jacob's house, so he lives here. So he's got a house to live in. But if you click this question mark, and it's called Housing Query, you can click on the house and see if it's a suitable house or not. And it tells you in the bottom left, this housing is already occupied, so it's suitable. You know it's suitable because you've built all the ingredients. And if you don't have everything, it'll tell you what you need. We got torches, we got a chair, we got a table, we got a floor, we got doors, we got a ceiling, we got walls, and we have a back wall. Everything that we need for a house. I'm going to push escape to close the inventory. Let me talk about the UI. I'm going to push tab and bring the minimap on the screen. Now, you might have had the minimap on your screen by default when you started the game. It's this big square right here. It is very useful for finding things in the world. It tells you, okay, there's a spawn over here. That's where we spawned, right here. This is where we started the game. This is Jacob, and this is me. You can tell by these head icons. And if you push plus on the map, you can zoom into the minimap. Minus will zoom you out. And if you push this, it will kind of go back to default zoom level. You can push tab again to bring the map as a transparency into the center of the screen. And you can push tab one more time to completely close the minimap, and then just bring tab to bring it back and cycle through again. I didn't have the map on because we didn't need it right now. I wanted to just give all the real estate to building our house. Now, you can. Let's talk about the UI itself as we spend the night here. In the upper left, of course, you notice that we have our hotbar, and you can move through these things by pushing the appropriate number key to get to them. I am moving around in the world using WASD. I am jumping with the spacebar. I am left-clicking to use my tool, and right-clicking to interact, like to talk with the guide or to open the door, for example. I can open doors by just walking through them, or if I wanted these guys to get in, I can right-click and let them into our house, but I don't want to do that. If I push escape to open up my inventory again, all of these squares underneath my hotbar in the upper left are my carrying inventory. And this is where things will go that don't go up into the hotbar. This hotbar will get automatically populated by items that the game knows that we can place in the world. Here is our coins and our ammo columns. This is where all of our money goes in different slots based on if these are copper, these are silver. We've got gold and platinum eventually. This is where our ammo goes. This is the trash can. So I put some gel in the trash can because I had some items from the previous world that I didn't want to start with. I wanted to start empty. And so that's just right there. But if you can bring back the last item that you trashed, so I can click on this and put it in my inventory. And then now you can see the trash can here. So if you accidentally throw something away, you have a moment to bring it back out of the trash can. You can click this button to sort your inventory. And when you click this, you can see that the items go into slots and they're organized by category. And behind each item, for example, the ammo, it has like this yellowish background, and the purple item, the goodie bag, which we can right click to open. It's given us some funny costumes. So if you're playing during the Halloween event, you get these Reaper items. So I can put this, here, and I can put this here in my cosmetic, and I can be the Grim Reaper if I want. And you don't get any stats from these. It's just purely cosmetic. Now, I'm going to take these off so that you can just see my normal character. Here, again, in the middle left is the crafting panel. And as I'm near the workbench, my options will change. If I click this, these are all the different things that I can make. I can make, for example, wooden platforms, which are good for climbing. And when we go deep into the mine or moving up high, I can build a regular table if I want in our house. I can build signs, I can build fences, all of these things I can make. A bow if I want, and a hammer. A hammer is actually good for us for removing certain furniture pieces. I'm going to push escape, close that up. Now, in the upper right, you'll see these hearts. This is my health. I have 100 hit points. Each heart is 20 health, and this blue star is my magic. We don't really need to worry about my magic right now. I'm not going to be using it in the beginning of the game. And beyond that, what else I want to say is if I die, if I were to go out and fight these zombies and die, I'll push tab. I would just respawn at my spawn point, which is over here. I would lose a certain portion of the money I have. It could be a quarter, it could be half, it could be all of it. And if I make my way back to my body where I died, I can just get that money back because we're on classic difficulty. Eventually, as time passes, it will become day, the sun will rise, and these zombies will go away. Now, is there anything that we want to build right now? We could, or I could dig through the ground and start seeing what's below us and not fight the zombies. So if I click on this floor piece like this, I can make a little hole in the ground. Now, then if I click on the dirt, I can dig into the dirt like so. And I can dig here, and I can dig here. Now at this point, I'm going to click housing, and this still counts as a house, even though there's a big hole in the floor. But for convenience sake, I'm going to go to the crafting, and I'm going to make some wood platforms. I'm going to make as many as I can. I can make 30. Wood platforms are one of the most useful things in the game. I'm going to push 8 to select the wood platform. I'm just going to build them right here. Oh, maybe I can't while I'm standing there. Here we go. There we go. Yeah, I was in the way. And you see now I've connected the floor, and I can walk over this, and it's not interrupted, but then I can just push down to drop down through the platform to get back up. If I want to make this look cool, I can build some walls to create a background space so that the basement of this house is all walled in, but I don't have to do that. It's still a valid house. I'm going to drop down, and I'm going to start digging in the ground, and this is how we can begin to explore the world underneath us if we don't want to go out and fight zombies. And zombies are actually kind of tough for us with the terrible weapon that we have at the moment. So maybe we want to dig. And Smart Cursor, which you get to by pushing Control, is great for digging a hallway. You see how, as I'm digging, it just selects different blocks. The sun is coming up, the zombies are leaving, and it's making, I don't have to click on each block, it just does it for me to dig this pit. But you see how it's all dark? But if I push Shift, I can just put a torch on the wall right back there, and I've lit up this area, and then I can just keep mining. I don't have to select torch. I can just push Shift to place the torch, and then I can dig over here. Okay, I'm going to dig down here, and then I'm going to dig down here like this, just digging through the dirt until we find something a little bit better, like, oh, hey, look, it's stone. And I'm going to select my wood platform. I'm going to build it right up here, and then now I can jump up, and, oh, I can't get out, so I need to build a platform here, and jump on this, and I'm in. And the guide is going to leave the house. He won't during the night because it's not safe, but now it's day again, and so he can leave. I can push down to go through this, and I can start digging again. I can put a torch right there to light up my area, and I can even put a torch here if I really want everything to be nice and bright. So everyone, we made it through our first day in Terraria. We've explained the basic controls, we've built our house, we've talked about how to use the guide for survival, and now we have to keep building onward and upward, and we're going to make this a series. There's so much to explain about Terraria that I'm going to need to present this guide as a series so that you can really get into the game and I can cover everything thoroughly, because it's just too rapid fire to try to cover it in a short amount of time. We'll talk more about what we can make. We're going to get some equipment. We're going to make some more advanced stuff. We're going to explore the world more, and we're going to start getting more people to move into our little settlement here. Everyone, I hope you're finding this series to be useful and fun. If you have any questions about the game, please post those in the comments below. If you are a Terraria expert and you want to help, that is fantastic, but please remember, this guide is meant for people who have never played the game before, and it's meant to be non-spoilery. So please try to give advice in that spirit. Advice that doesn't spoil later contents of the game or overly tell people things that are too in-depth or complicated for a brand new player. All of your advice is so welcome, and we can make this a great resource for new players to get into Terraria, or people like me who played Terraria but just didn't get it and needed a little bit of a boost to enjoy it more. Thank you so much for watching, everyone. Take care.